Welcome to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast on irrigation and EU agriculture.
Agriculture is one of the largest water-consuming sectors, using it in particular for irrigation. But water scarcity is an increasing problem, both globally and in the EU, and the situation is expected to worsen with climate change.
The EU's Common Agriculture Policy promotes the sustainable use of water in agriculture, but how will the EU deal with this challenge in the future? Stay with us.
Without water, there is no life. It's as simple as that. And while new farming methods and technologies allow some types of crops to be grown without soil, a certain amount of water is still needed to grow any kind of crop.
Globally, 70% of the fresh water extracted is used for agriculture, reaching as high as 95% in some developing countries. And you know how much water is needed to produce 1 kilogram of beef? Between 13,000 and 16,000 litres, depending on how it's produced.
The problem is the following. According to the World Bank, by 2050, feeding a planet of 9 billion people will require an estimated 50% increase in agricultural production and a 15% increase in water withdrawals.
But water is becoming a scarce good, and it'll be even more so in the future due to climate change and pollution problems. So how are we going to square that circle?
Well, to answer that question, we need first to consider the role and effects of irrigation, which has been practiced in Europe for thousands of years.
Yes, it has. Actually, the amount of irrigation water used in agriculture depends on several factors, from weather conditions to types of crop and cropping methods, soil characteristics, and irrigation techniques.
So agriculture itself provides opportunities for better water management and water savings through both traditional farm practices and new farming technologies.
Estimates add up to savings of more than 40% in the volume of water used if we were to improve the efficiency of irrigation systems, plant drought-resistant crops, and reuse treated water.
And agriculture itself also provides opportunities for saving water. A number of general or crop-specific on-farm practices can help save water, both in rain-fed and irrigated agriculture.
In the EU, the majority of irrigated agricultural areas are in the southern regions, especially in Spain and Italy. However, there are areas equipped for irrigation elsewhere, especially in the Netherlands.
Over 40% of the EU's water use is for agriculture, and the main part of freshwater abstraction is for agricultural use in countries like Greece, Spain and Cyprus. But although irrigation needs are higher in the Mediterranean region, northern and eastern European countries have had to take emergency measures due to long periods of drought in recent years, and the EU's agricultural funds have acted as a safety net in several member states during recent droughts.
But does the EU really have an influence on the amount of irrigated land in the EU? Stay with us.
In recent years, various EU initiatives have been launched to address the challenge of sustainable water use in agriculture, including a more integrated approach to water management, water reuse, research and innovation, and greater environmental ambition in agricultural policy.
But despite some progress, structural problems in water management remain, including pollution from agriculture and over-abstraction. Therefore, better policy coordination between EU policies and actions is key to achieving the sustainable management of EU waters.
The European Common Agricultural Policy has long been promoting the sustainable use of water in agriculture, for instance through mandatory practices for farmers or investing in the modernisation of irrigation networks. And in the future it will be even more environmentally minded, besides making aid for farmers more conditional on good management of land and the protection of environment.
Better water management could result from new schemes aiming to incentivise farmers for agricultural practices beneficial to the environment and climate.
The European Commission is also determined to exploit the potential of reclaimed water as a safe irrigation practice, possibly increasing water reuse in agricultural irrigation in the EU from 1.7 billion cubic metres per year to 6.6 billion. For water reuse may play an important role in adapting to climate change as an alternative supply source in case we run out of water.
The EU is also investing in the development of new technologies that may provide innovative and sustainable solutions to lower water and energy consumption, such as sensor-supported and precision irrigation, photovoltaic, irrigation systems, wastewater treatment and agronomic practices to prevent pollution and increased organic matter in soil, to mention just a few.
Enhancing water management in the EU is also a priority of the European Parliament, which has repeatedly called for more coordination between the Common Agricultural Policy and other EU policies and actions to better protect our water resources from the negative impacts of agriculture.
What's clear is that in the light of challenges such as climate change and increased pollution, adopting a sustainable and efficient approach to agricultural water use is critical, not only to protect our environment, but also to ensure that we can keep on producing the food we need to feed an increasing population.
You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcasts.